The past bit, I haven't been taking a bit of a break from Minecraft. Not from Minecraft. I've been playing Minecraft. I've been taking a break from Imperium Galactic Survival, which had been playing quite a lot lately, and I've been playing here. This is not on a server. This is on my own PC. It's a local game. I'm gonna go ahead and let's sleep through the night here, quick, so we can get a better view of some of the stuff in the daytime. Here, this is actually going to be an entry hall. The automated furnaces here, these very basic ones, they will get moved. They just happen to serve this area here because most of the building is not done. In fact, the part that I've really been building here is my grand staircase. And even that is a long way from completed. My personal progress was to go up with the staircase. To that end, let's go up the staircase. Let's go jump over that. And oh, I wanted the other side. Yeah, this might hurt a little bit. Well, lucky jump. Okay, this is an attic over the entrance area. The roof of the attic, this stuff. Granted, there will be a much bigger roof to the main building. Granted, as I said, it's just the staircase I'm building right now. And the staircase is going to pretty much consume this part of the hill. I'm gonna have to just remove it all. And this is gonna be the staircase. The grand building itself, probably gonna have to move those exterior stairs a bit because I'm guessing I'm not sure exactly how far it's gonna go that way. But it's going to be expand to each side of the staircase and then expand back that way, so that there will probably be a big open courtyard. One of the kids, one of my children, one of their complaint about the previous large building, which I didn't think it was that large, not to me. Their complaint about it was that they would get lost in the building. And so I was thinking, well, if I made another big building, but if I actually put say a grand courtyard, so that when you're looking out over the courtyard, you could actually look over and say, there's the staircase, there's the pumpkin patch, there's the wheat fields, because some of the rooms, it's going to be a huge building. Some of the rooms are going to be devoted to various farming facilities that you can comfortably farm, safe from the dangers of the world. But for now, it's mostly just a working project. This grand staircase, much bigger staircase than my previous large building. So this, again, the idea with having that grand courtyard, I was like, well, what if I do a more an open staircase, something where you can really see up or down through the layers of the staircase itself. Okay, so again, the building's going to be beyond that way. I really haven't done much with it. I have gone, if we go here, that door, that's actually just me making a tunnel all the way down, winding back and forth a couple times, down to the bedrock, where I then did out some tunnel shafts to start getting some redstone and a decent haul of iron to at least get started. So I don't have an unlimited supply of iron. I just have a decent kind of get started sort of thing. That stuff. So I did a shaft all the way down. Over there, I really like I had to find some pine trees. Ironically, I went exploring the swamp over there when I should have just gone the other way, a little past these trees here, which I clearly saw were more of my oaks and stuff. There's actually some pine trees there, and just those are the ingredients I needed to start this part of my garden, where it has some grand pines, because those are they're easy for me to then take an axe and chop them down, getting lots of wood that I can then, I mean, each tree probably represents at least a stack of 64 blocks of wood that I can then throw in the furnaces, convert to charcoal and stuff, so I can, have plenty of fuel to run my furnaces. So yeah, I just and to make um, the lanterns and torches. You can see a post out there in the swamp with a torch on top. There's a few more. That was my initial exploration as I was doing stuff so I could find my way back as I was going out there. I now actually have some maps started of this, and so far going that way, the water doesn't go very far this way. So where it's not swamp, it's just uh, a small inlet, looking like a river here, but it doesn't go very far. Stuff. So if we go here, look at my map. And there's 4 of these maps. They're zoomed out as far as I could. And even though it looks like I'm starting into a decent body of water there, so far everywhere I've been there, it's swamp. And the outlets of the swamp, they might go into areas that are not swamp anymore, but they don't go very far. So far, I have not found a connection to the ocean. So I do have, some of the seaweed growing out here, but I haven't seen any kelp or anything like that yet because I haven't been able to find the ocean. Okay, so it's just one of those, starting a new game. Eventually I'm going to have to do some exploration even greater than I have so far to try to find a path to the ocean, and at that point then I'll have to decide whether it's trying to get a whole bunch of iron and building a rail line out to the ocean, or if it's happens to be something where I can, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe one of the out of the side of the swamp, but maybe I'll have an outlet out into the ocean. I hope, because that would be, in which case then I would just have to have a trail. Again, probably the light posts, the little torches up through the swamp to guide your way in and out. But right now they're just they were to guide my way through the swamp as I was trying to look for things. Other things I would probably try to find is a village so I can get some villagers, and somewhere I'm going to build my own custom village. But, it's so much easier if I was actually next to the ocean. So I don't know if I'm going to be building myself a massive pond somewhere, or how I'm going to handle that. So I've been wandering back and forth here as I talk. Let's see. Oh yes, across the way there is my initial gardens. Although this building here itself will probably get some of the rooms dedicated to gardens and stuff. The initial gardens will be over there, and I will probably on this outdoor gardens, as the stairs, grand staircase goes down, at one point I will go ahead and shoot a tunnel off of this building down underneath this body of water, and then have another staircase, a smaller one, not a big grand staircase again, but a smaller staircase, come up there and attach to a building there in the gardens, giving access to the gardens another way, because I don't think my skills of building a bridge coming off of this will go well. I could be wrong. The stuff. I like how the building's turning out, but I'm not feeling a bridge at this time. Maybe I can pull off a bridge, but I'm just not feeling it at this time. So, yeah. Well, that's again, I haven't done a whole lot in this game except just starting on this big building. Bad habit of building these larger buildings in Minecraft. Quite often, where I'm not sure how I'm going to fill all the building. At this point in this video, you can, if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and go out of this and save and quit the title, because I'm going to go to my creative game, and some of the things that I may try fitting in that big building. They'll be, granted, they're not the building. I've got this feeling it's going to be really big, and so some of these things are not probably going to take up that much of the building. Okay, in the creative game here, I could say that this is the. I'm probably going to replace the one door, actually, with a door like this. I'm probably going to redesign it a bit, in as much as I can. But the problem is some of this ends up closed off here because it's hiding Redstone Works. So it's, and the good chances what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the redstone probably up in the attic of the building instead of the floor underneath, because underneath it's water, and I really, at least I know how to clear water out and reclaim it for structure. I can do that, but in this case I probably would rather just use the attic and not have to play with that. So this case, it actually, the redstone work comes goes there, and it goes down here into what they call an XOR gate, because there's actually a switch on each side of the door, and in order for them to work properly the way I'd like, they have to be on an XOR switch. Let's see if I can find a sample of it. The very basic door. So this is my first XOR gate door sample. I used that actually. The first copy of Minecraft we had. My kids got me into Minecraft. I blame my kids. And rightly so, because to be honest, I probably, without my kids having got me saying, "Oh, Dad, we'd like to play Minecraft. Dad, we'd like to play Minecraft," and so then we got Minecraft, and then I played it with them, and then I got into it. Got my own account and set up a Minecraft server stuff here at my house, just for local, just for me and the kids. If I hadn't gotten into that, I probably wouldn't have gone into Empyrean Galactic Survival. So, that's so my kids got me into Minecraft, and from there I expanded. But yeah, this on our PlayStation, that I used that gate and stuff. And as I said, there's the revised version of it over there, which I'm going to use, more likely to use. But if you look at here, my very first sample of the gate here, the problem what I'd have is I would go ahead and I would do something like close the door or open it. In this case, this is close the door. Well, notice, no matter what I do, so if there was multiple doors on the building, if I closed this gate on one door, went to the stuff, and then I came back to here, I'd find, wait, I can't do anything. So I'd have to go back out the door I came in, come back over to the other side to open up my door, which is why then I did the version with the XOR gate, the redstone logic, the XOR gate, so that I could then open it and close it from either side. It wasn't an issue. Here's just a sample of my basic furnace stuff. Here I put through an on-off switch here. Here I was messing with gauges, measuring how full something was. I never did implement it in anything. This here is actually your simple, there's only a single furnace under here, but you have two switchable between two fuel sources. So, small job, large job. But the thing is, it doesn't do any faster because it's still a single furnace. Here's your raw material input. Your refined bricks come out here. So your, depending on what your, so your stone or bricks or whatever it is, you're coming out there. So yeah, but it's a single furnace. This here, little updated on it, stuff. But this case, underneath, I'm not going to show you underneath at this time, but it's running two furnaces. Okay, but what I really liked Okay. This over here, I played around. It's basically the same concept, 2 furnaces, stuff. But then the outputs over here on this side, and then I played with over here a room with the very basic furnaces. Just kind of, okay, you can have a little closet where you have the basic furnaces in there. And then you have your double furnace automated system over there. But the real one, this is the one that's, that might go in the building just as an, homage stuff, or also for smaller projects. But for your large projects, this is for me, the real deal. Yeah, again, we have our 2 switchable fuel sources. Stuff. We have, that's not actually an on-off for this thing. That just switches fuel sources, and it doesn't stop it here. It actually stops it where it feeds it into the system. Your raw materials in here, and we have 4 boxes to receive the polished product. And let's go ahead. I will put some fuel in here, but I know it's got enough fuel in the system. The project I gave it before was no way it was going to burn up what was already in the system. So we'll grab ourselves some iron ore, gold ore, and some cobblestone. And then we'll go ahead and we're going to do a search items. We're going to go for coal. Well, let's go ahead and grab a stack of charcoal. Go throw it in here in the fuel source. It's just pulling it in here. As I said, it doesn't stop it. The switch does not stop it here. It actually stops it on the other part. Granted, we currently have it active on this side anyway, so this is what's going to be fed into the system for refinement. And we'll go ahead and we'll stick in our raw materials. And we're going to go down here and we're going to enjoy here, because it's right now it's prepping the system, and our rail cart should start going here in a moment to feed 8 furnaces. Yeah, I suppose I could have extended it out to even more furnaces, but for my purposes here, 8 furnaces was more than sufficient. And stuff. So a whole bunch of Redstone Works to feed 8 furnaces, trying to distribute the materials and the fuel as evenly as I could manage. It doesn't work out quite precise, but pretty darn good. Okay, bunch of other experiments. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here messing around with them. This is some of the experimentation I did for getting the minecart system to work. Some other things I was playing with. Let's see, what do I want to do? A little show and tell. Let's see. Oh, my rail station. There is a good chance with that building be as large as it is, it may get an incorporated rail station. It'll probably be similar to this one. The light is off, meaning that is not an active stop. So the cart, we should just zip right on through. But if I go the other way, flip that switch before I hit there. Granted, I'll probably put the switches a little further out, but for my testing the concept, that worked. It actually then stops the cart there at the station. You can hear that lights that up for a moment. In fact, passing over those sensors are what reset it. So in fact, as I go over that sensor, it'll reset that to inactive. So that's how it catches the cart here. And then you have to force it past there a little bit, and it zips on its way. Catch the switch. And back to zipping through there. Okay. Let's see what else on the creative that I might do a little show and tell. Okay, so I may incorporate a rail station on there. That's especially going to be the case if I end up finding the oceans in some way that I decide rail is the best way to get there. Because my goal is to find the oceans in my new game. Okay, this here is the Redstone Works of that demonstration model buried in the hill. That might be incorporated into the big building, not necessarily the hill concept, but what it is. And let's use the building itself to hide the Redstone Works instead of in this case, a hill that I was using for the demonstration. But this is a little demonstration of the Redstone Works. So, and it actually uses an XOR gate logic circuit here, so that either the switches, similar to the with the door, XOR gate allows the switches on either side, and in this case, it's a hidden room, which I could seal up behind me while I'm down in the room, or just in general and stuff. So that's just a concept. So now I really probably should capture the enhanced version of this. I did in my creative game on the PlayStation, because then I switched to buttons. So even without this sign, the lever is quite easy to notice. But I put some buttons that blend just a slightly bit better into the wall. And so, with the right wall material and the right button, it was a little harder to see that button, and so a little more towards that concealed entrance. Okay, and let's go over, show the furnaces. While I'm over here, why don't I go show you my Lightroom. This was a study and stuff. There's actually 4 doors all around this Lightroom, and I was just playing around with fire here, just being silly in my creativity stuff. But if we go up these central stairs stuff, this room is all nicely lit. Oh, hold on, too far up the stairs. The switch I want, or the button, is here. Now this is actually on a timer system, so it should take it a moment. Oh, there was a button here too. And all the lights should shut off, so that now we're just observing the lighting coming off the fires. So this was, again, it was intended for a light study. I was messing around with various concepts for poles, for lighting, in my game, for my pathing and stuff. Okay, and lights come back on. In this case, the Redstone Works, I'd left this door open, and this was where the Redstone Works is, up here on top of the building. It shuts all 4 doors, gets shut by that, as well as all the interior lights, so that it darkens the place up quite nicely. Okay. I think here I was, since it's creative, you could actually bust down through the bottom layer, so I was messing around with that a bit, and then I sealed it with glass. Let's see what else. Tested out my initial egg farm here. I tested out here in creative, and it wasn't until I put it on my server, I put 4 of those and found out that it was far more efficient than I realized, and I probably could have gotten away with 1 or 2 stuff. Okay, I believe I showed that off, and I showed the hiddenness. Okay. These are my experimentations for the bottom of my monster trap and for the tunnels of my monster trap. I just wanted to reassurance that in this case I was considering creepers exploding, although I didn't plan to be in any of those, inside any of those with the creepers. I still was like, there's something dangerous that's going to be going through my tunnels. I'd rather they stay intact. And so I did some experiments with spawning creepers in creative and then setting them off. Okay, here is my initial experiment on an iron golem trap, and this is in creative, so I didn't, monsters were not enabled when I was playing with this, so I didn't have to worry about that sort of problem. And then I would test this out. As you can see, in the time it's been here in the creative, many iron golems have met their poor fate in the trap. But then when I actually built this pretty darn close to this in shape and performance, then I actually had open access to the villagers that I'd put in my trap, and realized that as I leveled them up, I could trade with them to get the diamond pickaxe. I could get enchantments. I could get specific enchantments from them. Granted, the game had its system to determine what enchantment they made available to each, and once they had that particular enchantment. But I was like, this is nice. This is really, really nice. I like it. So then I started experimenting with the idea of making more decorative villagers, and then in the process, then I learned about the zombie attacks that can spawn on a large village. So like this itself, even though there's a wall around it, the zombies would potentially spawn within the wall and stuff. And of course, this is not complete. I was just messing around with the concept here, trying out different materials for building the buildings in various combinations, seeing what I liked and how they work together, stuff. Giving maybe what would it be, a rooftop garden, because if I was building these things, they'd take up so much of the space that maybe gardens out here might not feel like they really could feed the village. So to create the sense, doing some of the rooftop gardens, some without rooftop gardens, stuff. But then the idea was, granted, I would probably incorporate more buildings to make sure that the village actually got extended out. And I want to say that if we were to look at this structure, oh no, I didn't. But the idea here is that it would be placed on top of water. I thought I did tunnel this out, and yes, I did. So a bunch of this is on top of water, but a bunch of it is not. But the idea being that with it being on top of water, stuff, if these were properly placed out, they'd extend the radius of the village. And since where the zombie attacks, at least at that time, and depending whether it's changed with the game, with this update, but at least at that time, the zombie attacks would be based on the radius of the village where they would appear. So that by extending the radius of the village, reducing the risk that they would spawn in those buildings, and the stuff, so that hopefully they would just spawn outside these buildings, that it would be easier to control and keep the villagers alive in those extended outer buildings, where and then make sure that the radius was such that the zombies would spawn outside the walls of the village. So yeah, it was not sure if it'll work, but it was what I was going to try and see if I could get myself a nice village with lots of villagers so I could level up a number of them and potentially, granted I was going to, I'm not sure how it would work out, but build some structures that would basically be like little shops. And then I would try to somehow trap those villagers in the stalls, the villagers that I really liked, trap them in the stalls of the shop. So I would trap them in the stalls of the shop, and the floor needs to be added back. It's not the intention to stuff. I think the floor has been added back over here, just not there. And in this case, I was messing around with the shop actually being extended to the layer below. As you can see, I did some work to trap some villagers there. What I did is minecarts. I did a minecart rail down that way, and that's how I got the villagers down there. And so I had them somewhere else, trapped them on the minecart, had the minecart then take the rails down to where I wanted them trapped in their stall. The idea being that I could have multiple stalls here, trap the villagers with the enchantments and the gear I really wanted, and work with that. Also, in this case, I was experimenting with a multi-tier farm. So again, having some more farms within the and within the village stuff. Kind of and here. I think this spot down here would be really where the iron golems would spawn. As you can see, there are some trapped down there, but then I experimented with making a multi-tier water trap, just because I kind of liked playing around with it. I think this might be some more stalls that I was building, playing around with some wooden materials for the stalls. There's a distinct possibility with some of the changes in the game that this may be the way I go, just to keep the villagers in the stalls safe from some of the hazards. Granted, I might go with a combination, do a split and do a non-flammable roof for against lightning strikes, but the main stalls themselves being wood to kind of keep them safe from any potential things that get in here that would get in case my plan for the zombie protection didn't work out. Okay, now if you see these iron golems here wandering around, it's partly because as I built this thing here, yes, at one point I was trapping the iron golems in the trap, but as various doors were added and structures, because a lot of this is experimentation with buildings and structures for the materials and how they look and what I might try. And so as I did that, they would change the balance of the doors of this village so that the center was not always on top of that trap. So some of the golems ended up spawning in other locations. But this is just an experiment and creative to try out placing my own sort of buildings for my own sort of village to really encourage a massive population of villagers, and maybe, if I was lucky on the design, extending the radius and keeping them safe for the most part. Okay, well, that ends my tour of my creative. Yes, there may have been other stuff here that I didn't really show you, things that aren't working out the way I thought they would, things that I may have not that may have been fine with the way they are, but are the experimentation that led to some of the builds I showed off. Okay, well, enjoy. and I will cut it here.